Hi, everyone, and welcome to another class with me, Stephanie, here at Linguistiko. This class is called Tradition, and it is a conversation class for students who are at least at an intermediate level. So what we are going to do today, or in this hour, is just to talk about tradition, whether we think tradition is good, bad, where we can talk about traditions from our countries or traditions that we have heard about from other countries. We can ask each other questions about the different cultures that each person is from. We also are going to talk about how traditions change and if we think they should change, or if everything, basically everything that has to do with tradition and how things get started and how they change, how they stop. Um, and I just want to have a pretty dynamic conversation during this hour. I want to give the opportunity for students to be open and to just feel free to express their ideas and practice talking about something interesting in English. So really, there's no rhyme or reason to how we're going to do this. I really would like to see if we can get an organic conversation going where, like I said, where students just feel free to talk and where we can ask each other questions. So I do have a couple videos to share if they're interested in seeing any information on traditions from around the world. I know as I was preparing for this class, I watched lots of videos just to learn about other traditions around the world. And I will say some are silly, some are strange, some are scary, some involve, traditions from history, even present day. Some even involve death. So, it can be really interesting. It really makes you think and wonder why people do the things that they do, you know. I also want to talk about whether or not people have ever gone against a tradition or not. I know that I have personally, so I'll share that story in just a little bit. Hi, Caesar, how are you?
Hey, hi. I didn't expect you to give lessons at this time of the day.
Yeah,
It's almost midnight.
do you want to hear how that happened? It's 1 in the morning here in Argentina. Do I look sleepy?
No, really. But here is 11 p.m.
Yeah. Well, what happened was I submit my schedule to Linguistico, letting them know when I can work. And I must have submitted it incorrectly because they signed me up for this hour. And I'm like, why would they sign me up for this hour? And then I looked at the document where I submitted it, my availability, and I accidentally put that I was available at this time. So I get to do a class. And it's fine. It's fine. Last night I stayed up really late. I stayed up till 4 in the morning. So I kind of prepared myself to be awake at this hour because this isn't the first time that I make this mistake actually. And last time I wasn't prepared and I was so tired in class and my student was like, I can tell that you're tired. And I'm like, I know, I'm like a different person when I'm tired.
Is there
Yeah.
a jar of coffee next to you or something like that?
A jar of coffee? No, I have some perfume over here. I could like spray myself. It'll like open my senses. I don't know. Um, no, I didn't even think to drink coffee, but I guess that's good because that way I can just go to sleep right after this. But when I realized that I scheduled a class this late at night, I kind of said to myself, well, I'm not going to teach grammar at that hour. Like, I'm not going to do any serious teaching. So I decided to do a conversation class. And that's what this is. And our topic of conversation is tradition. And so basically, we get to talk about traditions from our countries or traditions that we know of from around the world. And we're going to have kind of a discussion, like if we think traditions are good or bad, how they change, if they should change. Um, so yeah, we're going to talk about that. Hi, Fernando. How are you?
Excellent. And you?
Oh, it's just 1 a.m. here in Buenos Aires.
Oh yeah, I just definitely it's 3 hours ahead, right?
I know, I know. Caesar was just telling me, he's like, Stephanie, why are you giving a class at this hour? And it was a mistake, honestly, because I accidentally signed up for an incorrect time slot. But it's fine because it's not like it's like 3 in the morning. It's just 1 in the morning on a Monday night. No big deal. Actually, on a Tuesday morning. So
Wow.
no problem. I'm awake. I stayed up late last night. So I slept in, so I'm fine. But anyhow, since I knew I was going to give a class this late, I didn't want to do anything too serious or too, I don't know, demanding on my brain. So I made a conversation class something that I'm very interested in, and I think that, we can have a really interesting discussion about this. So title of the class, Tradition. We're just going to talk about traditions from our countries. And then I kind of want to have a debate, like, what kinds of traditions do you guys think are good? What kinds are bad? Like I don't know how much you guys know about like world history and traditions from world history, but I mean there are traditions from other cultures in history and probably even modern cultures that involve like human sacrifice and stuff. So it's like this can be as silly as talking about, oh, the tradition of going out and partying the day before you get married. That's a tradition. Or something as serious as, human sacrifice being a tradition. And so I want to talk with you guys about, how history has changed or not, and where we think the line should be drawn. I don't know how traditions are changed, etc. So let's start off. By talking either about some traditions from our own cultures or by asking each other questions. So, okay, United States tradition, I guess the only thing that I can think of right now, what is start off? Oh, it's a phrasal verb. It means we're going to start off with something. We're going to start with something. Or we're going to start by doing this, but we just say start off with. So we're going to start off with me, and I'm going to start off talking about traditions in the United States. Okay, so I mean, as you guys know, there are traditions for like every holiday, for Christmas, for Easter, etc. When women get married, it's traditional to wear a white dress. And what else can I say? What else can I say? When you have a birthday, it's tradition to like close your eyes and make a wish before you blow out your candles. So hang on. Hi, Alexander. Welcome to class.
Hello, hi to everyone.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Great. We're doing good. So right now we're just going to share a couple traditions from our countries. And if you guys, I know this is maybe it's hard to think about something original right now, but if you can think of something original that you think is done in your country and in no other country or in very few countries, then go ahead and share that as well. So Fernando, let's start with you.
Well, okay, so something very traditional from here, just a thing, because as you know, here's a mix of cultures over all these years. But well, I don't know if it's like common in other countries, but here it's very usual people to like to drink coffee with some sweet bread or something like that during the afternoon, even if it could be a hot day, but it's like like I mean the English they have their tea time, so
Uh-huh.
here we have our coffee time. That's very used. I mean, all people drinking like a coffee, even in their works, they are drinking like a cup of coffee with some sweet bread. That's something very traditional here during the afternoon. It could be around 3 o'clock or something like that. You will see other people like drinking their coffee. Yeah, it's something very traditional here.
Yeah, that's interesting because here in Argentina they do the same thing, but they have mate, which is kind of like a tea.
Oh
Um,
yes, definitely.
yeah,
It's very good, very good. I have tasted. I
yeah,
have
I
tried
like
it.
it.
Yes, yes.
I like it as well. Okay, so over there they have coffee. That's really interesting. And you're in El Salvador, and Caesar is in Peru, right, Caesar? I always question that whenever I say it.
Yes, Peru.
Okay, so do they also have coffee there at like 3 in the afternoon?
not really. Well, I mean, between lunch and dinner, approximately at 5 o'clock every day, some people take what we call lonche, which is a kind of breakfast, a cup of coffee and some bread with butter or cheese. But just that. So, but some people do. I don't,
Uh-huh.
but
And you don't.
I wish I could. But
But
I don't because I have lunch very late, almost 3 o'clock in
yeah,
the afternoon. So I mean, from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, there is not too much time. So
yeah.
I am
To get
still
hungry.
satisfied with the food I just ate. So basically,
Yeah.
I don't, but some people do.
Yeah. When I was living in the United States, you guys, I had a lot of Mexican friends and I would like always be at their homes, for dinner, and that's why I fell so in love with Mexican food because I've had so much at my friend's house. Um, but anyhow, they do that as well. But instead of having like coffee and sweet bread in the afternoon, they have milk and sweet bread at night before bed. So when they say that they are going to cenar, which we all know, since we're all Spanish speakers here, which we all know as to have dinner, over there when they say cenar, that means the sweet bread and the milk that they have before bed. Um, which was strange for me, but I got used to it. And so they eat dinner kind of early, and then later they have milk and sweetbread before bed. So that was interesting. Did you guys know about that one?
Well, I didn't know about that one. I just have heard about that some people what they do if they cannot sleep, they just drink like a glass of milk. That helps, but I didn't know that they were like used to always drink like milk with some sweetbread. But it sounds cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, next question, guys. Have you guys ever went against a tradition from your country? Something that was expected of you, and you said, no, I'm not going to do that. I can start if you guys want to hear a story. It's not really a story. It's just a time where I broke tradition, I guess. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, here, well, it's like a tradition, but well, I don't know if it's still a tradition because I haven't seen it lately,
mhm.
currently. But when I was a kid, I mean, there was a tradition that in some places they used to like celebrate. I don't know how do you say this word, raza.
Sorry, Caesar, help me out. Like, how do you say that in English? Like somebody's race?
Yeah, I think it is race, but I'm not sure because race it sounds like a car race as well. But yeah,
Ah, no, we say race, like somebody's race or heritage
oh yeah.
or
So there's
ethnicity, ethnicity.
ethnicity. Oh yeah, that one. Yes, ethnicity. So or there used to be a kind of tradition that there is a day called the Day of Ethnicity or Race Day. I don't know how it would
Mhm.
be proper, but then the parents, I mean, used to dress the kids as when like in could be traditional clothes from here, but also like yeah, could be traditional from after the colonization, or could be traditional as well, but before the colonization, like an Indian custom or something like that, or something like that. Yeah, and they used to do that kind of celebration, but I didn't do it because I mean I wasn't it didn't like it wasn't I didn't like it. I mean, just like I've been never very fond of dressing costumes and all those things. So
Oh, so it's a day that they have over there in El Salvador, and all the parents dress their kids like that on this day?
yes, definitely,
Ah,
yeah. But I mean, it's like currently disappearing because, as you know, some traditions are just going to getting less popular as the time goes
Yeah.
by. But yeah, that was a tradition when I was a kid.
Yeah. Cool. Caesar, did you ever break any tradition?
Well, not really. Actually, how do you say that? I'm not into tradition. So, well, actually, I live in a cosmopolitan city,
Mm-hmm.
and every single group has its own tradition and its own
Yeah.
celebrations. But particularly in my family, I'm not sure if there are some. But actually, I'm not, a fan of traditions. I mean, I never celebrate those things.
Yeah.
I
You know
mean,
what?
go
Sorry,
ahead, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead. You finish. Sorry.
Well, basically that's it. So I am not
Oh,
the person who likes those things.
yeah. You know what I think ends up happening, you guys? I think that we all follow some kinds of traditions without realizing it. I don't think people go, "Oh, and now we are all doing something that is, tradition." I think tradition, when it is truly tradition, is something that is so normal in society that you don't even really question it. And then somebody comes along and says, "Hey, why are we doing this?" And then some people say, "Oh yeah, he's right. Why are we doing this?" And then they start going against tradition and start changing it, because I feel like there are like historical types of traditions, and then there are more modern traditions, because Caesar, you said you live in a cosmopolitan area, and I feel like all cosmopolitan areas are now developing their own traditions. Like when you think of San Francisco, like complete liberalism and free society, and we can all do whatever we want, but this is, we believe in this and that. And every single city, I think, is following that kind of, I don't know, belief system, and they are like birthing a new type of, I don't even know how to say it, like new traditions. Like they're changing old traditions, and now they're making new traditions that, I don't know if that's even making sense. But anyhow, so I think that's interesting. And I wanted to tell you guys about a time that I broke kind of a major tradition. Well, obviously, it's tradition for for women to get married and wear a white dress, right? So I wore a black dress on my wedding. And it was really, really interesting because it wasn't one of those like gowns, like a big black wedding dress. It wasn't like that. First of all, I wasn't even planning on getting married. If you guys have heard my story, I came to Argentina to study, and I came here single and I left married. No, I don't like heavy metal, black metal, any of that kind of music. No. Anything that's like dark and stuff like that, no. But anyhow, so yeah, so everything happened so fast, and there was nothing traditional about what I did, because first of all, I came here single, I came here to study. In 5 months, I was married. Okay, that's not traditional. I mean, at least not in this modern age, maybe 100 years ago, but not now. And so I realized one thing was happening after another that was totally not traditional. My husband and I don't have the same like beliefs. That's not traditional. Like a lot of things were happening. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get married in black, because I was like, might as well be completely like anti-traditional, since the whole situation is so anti-traditional in and of itself. So the dress, it was actually black and cream. It had like two parts. The part underneath was cream colored, which is like an off-white, and then it had like this lace that was on top, and that was the black part. So it was like the duality, like the cream, the white, and the black. So I mixed it, and it was kind of symbolic for me. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was just a civil ceremony, and then we went out to a buffet and we danced and had a good time. So that was my wedding, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I look back and I'm like, thank God we didn't spend, we didn't blow thousands of dollars to to like have this picture perfect wedding so we can put pictures on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not into that. So I know that's not, how do I say this? That's not everybody's intention or dream wedding. I have a friend who recently got married, and she got married like a month ago, and she keeps putting her picture perfect wedding pictures on Facebook, and I'm like, okay, we saw you had the big white dress, you did the traditional wedding, that's great. It's just, I don't know. You guys, I'm like going on and on. This is the part where somebody has to interrupt me and say, "Yeah, Steph, so," and like take the, "Come on, guys, let's have an organic conversation here. Let's pretend we're all having our coffee, our Mexican sweetbread and milk or something. It's nighttime and we're all getting ready for bed. We're just having a little mini conversation, organic conversation." Organic. So when you think of something that's organic, it's very natural. Okay,
Exactly.
It hasn't been processed. It's not genetically modified. And using the word organic is like a very modern word, even though the word in and of itself is not modern. We use it a lot more now in English to describe things. Organic conversation. I don't know, organic this, organic that, because I mean, modern food is so unorganic that
Yes.
now we talk a lot about organic food, and we use it even in organic conversation. So what I mean is, I don't want a GMO conversation right now. I don't want to, like, do you guys know what I mean? Like, just jump in here. Like, just talk to me. Like, let's talk to each other. Somebody say something. Or maybe I'm not saying something interesting enough for you guys to react to. What's going on?
Well,
Oh my god.
I just can't stop laughing right now. Sorry. I need to mute my microphone. I will talk in a minute. Just sorry.
Okay, no problem, Freya. You take a second, okay? No, take like 30 seconds. We'll give you your time.
So basically, what made you wear a black dress was because you wanted, how do you say this in English, to mark a difference or something like that?
Well, it didn't even start out as me trying to be anti-traditious. Traditious. Oh my gosh. It's late, you guys. Traditional, anti-traditional. I was shopping. I was just shopping, and I was in the dress store, and I don't know why they think everybody here in Argentina is so skinny, because I was not fitting in any of the dresses that I tried on, and they were like the white dresses, the cream dresses. Sorry, I just pulled this off my ear. I wasn't fitting in anything, and all of a sudden I pulled this off, and I was like, "Ooh, that's nice!" And I was shopping with my husband. That's another thing. Supposedly, the husband is not supposed to see the wife in her, or the woman, the bride, in her dress until they meet at the ceremony. And I didn't do that. I like tried it on. I was like, "What do you think? Do you like it?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's nice." I was like, "It's black. Do you think that's okay?" He's like, "Whatever you want. It's your wedding." And I was like, "Hey, you're right." But I was scared to tell my mother-in-law because she is very traditional. And I told her, I was like, "So I'm going to be wearing kind of a black dress." And she just looks at me like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's really cute." And, well, she had to kind of deal with it. Yeah.
How about your mother? Was she present?
No, that's the other untraditional thing. My family wasn't even here because they were in a different country.
So probably they saw your wedding on Skype.
Yeah, okay, so Caesar and Fernando, imagine you guys want to learn Portuguese, so you go to Brazil. You're only going to be there for 6 months. You're going to do a little study abroad trip. You go there, you meet somebody the very first day you get there, and 5 months later you're married and you take them back to your country. That's what it would be like.
Yeah, definitely. It's very, wow. It's very, I will say, interesting, but at the same time, like, exciting because, I mean, it looks really, I mean, it's a really nice story, very, very, I mean, all you have told us, not traditional, but I like it because, I mean, it's something that I really admire, that you're not just, I mean, you do what you feel and what you want. And it's really good because a lot of people, maybe they do just as they do stuff because they're supposed to do it in that way, but it's not necessarily what they want to do. So I think it's very nice, or very also very how do you say, brave from
Yeah.
you, yeah, to do what you really wanted. And is I like it, and I just think that it's not necessary always to do
Yeah.
everything the traditional way. So it's yeah, so it's
I think that what's funny is like I wasn't even trying to be brave. I was just like, "Oh, I like you. Let's get married." You know, it was like the most natural thing. It was like eating lunch. Like, I'm sorry to be so unromantic, but it was like eating lunch. I was just like, "Oh, this is a good sandwich. You know, I like this sandwich. I'm gonna eat this sandwich." You know, it was so natural. So, okay, so now that we're talking about marriage, you guys, I feel in a way like not like marriage is under attack because that's something that people say all the time and it's got to the point where it just feels like a cliche. But I feel like there's a lot of propaganda out there for um, just like not being married. You know, like there's a lot of sitcoms and shows where people get divorced. I'll tell you about a cliche in a second, Caesar. Actually, I'll just tell you right now, and then I'll carry on. A cliche is a phrase that is like grammatically correct, probably, but is overused. Okay, so like when I said marriage is under attack, that is, to me, it sounds like a cliche because I've heard that so much that it just feels like it's an overused phrase. What are some other cliches that you guys know? I can't think of any right now. Um, Anybody? We can even Google a list of cliches real fast. But those phrases might be new for you guys since you're just learning English, but it's good for you guys to know which phrases are cliches for us in English. I'll just look up a couple and I'll give you guys an example. So hang on a second. I'm Googling cliches. Hang on. Oh, I think I clicked on the wrong link. Okay, so I'm going to click on a link that says examples of cliches. Okay, at the speed of light. That's a cliche. I mean, because even though something, like, a lot of times we use that and we exaggerate. We say, oh, it was so fast, it went like at the speed of light. And things don't really go at the speed of light. The only thing that goes at the speed of light is the speed of light. You know what I mean? So, but we use it to say something is fast. And we've used it so much that it's now a cliche. And basically, in your academic writing, you want to avoid cliches just because it makes your writing unoriginal. Okay, so at the speed of light, that's one. Here, I'm going to send you guys the link. I'm going to send you guys the link. That way you guys look at this later. There you go. Okay, so I want to know, basically, I was going to ask you guys, what do you guys think about marriage? You know, like a lot of people are talking about, oh, a lot of people are getting divorced now. Like getting divorced is kind of a normal thing. We see it in a lot of TV shows, and we hear a lot about it. And like more couples now are just moving in together. You know, they're like, yeah, we're just going to live together, and they're not taking marriage very seriously. And there's like a whole generation of young people, like our age, who are just like, yeah, I just don't think I want to get married. I think I'm just going to live with them. If it works out, it works out. If not, it doesn't. And some people are very afraid. They think that this is kind of going to destroy societies because a lot of people feel that the marriage or a marriage is kind of like the first building block of a society. If you have strong family units, then you will have like a strong city unit, and if you have strong city units, then you'll have a strong country unit, etc. So they feel like the marriage is kind of like the building blocks of everything, and like kids need to be brought up in strong family units, and a family unit can't be strong unless there's a marriage, a happy one. Then people get divorced, and then kids get psychological problems. So, what do you guys think about marriage? Do you think that it's important? Do you think you guys want to get married?
Well, yes. I mean, I think that's very important, and yes, I wanna get married. Yeah, and I feel it's important, and it has been so attacked recently because, I mean, well, during all these years, recent years, there has been a new popular culture like getting everything fast right now and in an easy way. So everybody's like, okay, the media and all this society, but not mostly the media and the movies and everything is just saying, hey, why do you want to? I mean, just take the easy way, avoid compromises. If something is not good, change it and try another thing, instead of like the old school philosophy. That word is always hard for me. How do you say philosophy? Yeah,
Philosophy?
philosophy, instead of the old school philosophy. That I like it. Actually, I like that part of the old school philosophy that says if something is broken, try you have to try to repair it instead of changing it. I mean, right now everybody's so used. Hey, I don't like this. I will change it. Instead of saying, "Hey, something is not good. I will try to fix it. I will push hard in order to do best for myself." But right now, no. It's just as any kind of product. They are washing our brains in order to say, hey, you don't like something, change it, or go to another thing instead of trying to fix what is wrong. So I think that's why I do believe in marriage, and I wanna get married someday in the future. Yes.
Yeah. Caesar, do you agree with that? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I do believe in marriage. And well, I think that nowadays people try to get well, I mean, they get married. No, I will say this in a different way. But I mean, they meet just someone for a couple of days, or I don't know, or just some months, and they believe that this is the person of their life. But I mean, they haven't even met this person, in details, uh, because you will never uh, know how other people thinks or feel actually,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, you're not, I mean, a kind of psychic or something like that.
Yeah.
And I also think that nowadays we as humans we are very selfish actually, because most of people say, okay, I will get married to someone else to be happy, and that's really selfish from you or from any person, because you don't marry someone to be happy, to make this person happy. And if this person has exactly the same idea, so it means that the relationship will work.
Yeah.
And I agree with what's his name? Sorry,
Fernando.
with Fernando, because if also if the relation is not going well, so you will need to fix it, because you cannot base a strong relationship in love, because feelings go away. So one day you can love your couple, but the next day you might hate it, and so you cannot base in feelings. And I
Yeah.
think that's what many people do not get divorced often, because they don't know what marriage really is. So as everybody thinks I do whatever I want, so I will establish my own rules. So as they don't have a parameter, I don't know how to say parametro,
Yeah.
so they just do what they think, but they don't know what it's really about. Actually.
Yeah. I think, wow, you guys, we are now in a deep conversation. I agree with you guys completely. And it's really true what you guys said that basically, if you're not happy by yourself, how are you going to be happy with somebody else? I think you guys are right. People look for fulfillment in other people, but other people are just as messed up as you are. Like we're all messed up. We've all got like our strengths and our weaknesses, and yeah, I don't think that a marriage. I don't think you should get married because you think that person completes you. I think you should be complete by yourself first. Because like you guys said, there like love is not a feeling, and And people change and you learn new things about your partner every day. I just learned yesterday that my husband doesn't know how to whistle. I've been married for over a year and I'm like, wait, what? You don't know how to whistle? I just thought it was obvious, like everybody can whistle. And he was like, no, I don't know how to whistle. So, yeah, and that's just a silly thing. That's just a silly thing that you're like, oh, I didn't know that. But I mean, like you say, people change, and I think like it's very important for a marriage to be based off of respect, almost maybe not even love, because love is just kind of, it comes from respect in a way. Like if you respect the next person, you'll be faithful. And I don't know. So I guess the question is, where does this idea of romance come from? If the world seems so lost, like, oh, and I'll just find my true love and get married and live happily ever after. I mean, where do we hear this story time and time again? From where?
What is romance?
Romance? Wait, are you asking me like philosophically, or are you asking me for the definition?
No, the definition. I mean,
Oh,
when you want to try.
romance is the noun for romantic, basically. Does that make sense? You know the word romantic, right?
Yes. So, well, as far as I know, if I say there is romance in a relationship, so it means that they love each other. That's what you mean.
No, it means things are romantic. Romance is not necessarily equivalent to love. At least I don't believe it is. So romance would be like having a candlelight dinner or something like that, or reading poems together. I don't know. Um, that's my silly example. I'm not like very romantic. I don't think I am. I like to have fun. I like to laugh. I think in every relationship though, there's always one of the two people is romantic, and my husband would be the romantic one. I'm not really. Um, but yeah, like I don't know. You know how? Okay, so I was gonna ask you guys this. In a lot of cultures, people have arranged marriages. So here we're talking about how bad, this whole idea of romance is, and then you take it to the other extreme and it's an arranged marriage, arranged by the parents. Do you guys think this is a good idea or a bad idea?
It's a bad idea, I believe. First of all, your parents don't know how you think or what you like or what are your preferences.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you let them choose who is the
Yeah.
correct person for you? Probably because
Well,
their parents did the same with them.
yeah.
But you're
It's
not going to live in
tradition
the
in the
same house.
society, so it's not like you would let them choose. You would grow up thinking mom and dad are going to pick my future spouse. Like you wouldn't even question it. Maybe people question it now more because media is reaching all parts of the world, and they're probably seeing American movies and being like, why does she get to pick her husband? But in many cultures, I mean, that children are just raised with that knowledge. So you think that that's a bad idea?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we think, well, I don't want my mom to pick my spouse. I get it. All right, Fernando, what do you think?
Definitely, I'm not agree with that. I mean, it's a really bad idea. I don't support that kind of culture because I think that to get married is a decision that one's take that well the two person takes. So as they are taking a decision, they have to accept the responsibility that comes with that decision. But in that case, their parents are imposing that decision to them and also the responsibility that it takes. So I think that is one of those things that all the people has the right to choose with
Yeah.
what person they want to spend the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if you guys know, but this way of thinking is more modern. Like that the person has the right to choose with whom they're going to spend their life. That's actually kind of like a more modern way of thinking. Like the more traditional, more ancient way to do this was that, yeah, either your parents or, elders in the society, they unite the couples. And so I always said, yeah, that's a horrible idea. I don't want my parents choosing my spouse. And then I thought of something else. Rather than thinking about what it would be like for your parents to choose your spouse, think if you had a child and you knew it was your responsibility to choose the spouse of your child, wouldn't you try to choose the most generous person, the most good-hearted person, the most hardworking person, the person that was going to cherish your child as much as you cherish them? I mean, let's think about it from that perspective. Does it seem so wrong when you think about, well, what if it was my child? I mean, you want the best for your child, right? And sometimes I think that, you know, children, like people, they don't choose their boyfriends and girlfriends very well. You know, like the girl, maybe she chooses a boyfriend because she thinks he's so cool, but maybe he's like a drug addict. And if her mom had to choose her boyfriend, maybe the mom would choose like a lawyer. I don't know. So what do you guys think now that I put that on the table?
Uh, well, I think that there are many. Well, it's depends of the. I mean, you put it since the nice point of view that with all the advantages, but I mean, in this case, I'm going to be the bad one. I'm going to give all the disadvantages as well. First of all, I honestly think because one of the many nights I didn't have too much to do. I just started thinking about that, but honestly, people, the parents do not own their kids. I mean, it's like they are not the possession as you bought them. I mean, it's your obligation to raise them and to give the best to them because it was your decision to bring them to the world, but also they have their own right to take their decisions because it's going to be the life that they will have, and the parents are not going to be with the kids all the time because it's a natural law that the people when they go older they pass away, so they die, and then their kids will have to live their own life after their parents go. So I think that it's bad from that point. Also, I think that the best person will know that the best person that will know the other one who in the couple is going to be, I mean, in this case, the man or the woman are going to get married, not the parents of the man or the parents of the woman. That's why, I mean, I don't know, but usually people like with the parents of the other person tries to give the best impression, and it's not always maybe that they are always in that way. So I think that the best capable person in order to choose with who they want to spend the rest of their life, it's the man and the woman that are going to get married or are going to be in that relation, because they will know more deeply the other person that the parents will do it. So I think that's why I think that the parents should not decide with who their kids must spend the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. I didn't actually say how I feel about that, about my last example, about what if it was your kid, wouldn't you? You know, I was just kind of trying to stimulate conversation, so I'll share my idea later. But Caesar, what do you have to say about what I said? Like, what if it was your kid? Wouldn't you choose somebody that would be like a good person?
Yes, I agree with you actually. As the mother or the father, basically you want the best for your child. And I am pretty sure that if I okay, let's imagine that I bring my girlfriend to my house to meet my parents. I'm pretty sure that my mother or father, one of them, will tell me, you know, this girl is the right for you, or this girl isn't the right for you. And well, this has happened all the time, but you must obey to your parents. If they say that he's the right person, or she's the right person, you you should think really seriously about this, because they know. I mean, especially the mothers. I think that they have this, like, I don't know,
Sixth
feeling
sense.
something. And then you after some years happen, and this is the experience of other people like her, because I have not experienced this yet, but most of them have said, your mother and my mother was right, they said. So I wish I had paid attention to what she said to me. So But as I didn't follow her advice, so I kept on with this relationship, and now I I don't want to continue with this. Probably some of them might say. So, for example, the children, they will not bring a boyfriend or girlfriend to their house, but we're talking about proper grown-ups, yes, like we
Yes.
are. So most in a point, you will bring this person to your house, and if your mother or father says, you know, that guy is not for you, so you should think about it carefully if you want to really go seriously with this guy.
Yeah.
Because I believe that they have, like, you know, that sixth sense that
Yeah.
actually it works.
Yeah.
So I would
So
go their way.
I think that all in all, like, whether you're talking about an ancient or a modern society that has arranged marriages or a modern society that doesn't have arranged marriages, I think that arranged marriage, it could still work. Like, um, where you have the parents and the child involved. You know, like I don't think, I mean, there are bad parents, maybe a mother who's jealous of her beautiful daughter or something, so she'll marry the daughter to some old man or something. Like, I mean, there's crazy people in this world, mean people, so I know that that kind of stuff happens. But I guess you could say if everybody had their intentions right, in a society where arranged marriage is the norm, I think it could still work out because good parents would say, hey, we want to set you up, you know, with so and so. What do you think about him? And the daughter could say, no, mom, please, no, I don't like the way that he does this, or I heard this about him. And they can like talk about it together, and then the other family could talk about it, and maybe they could come to some very nice, exciting arrangement for the young couple. And I think that in the modern society, it's the same thing that Caesar said. It's like your parents tell you. Your parents generally don't say, just do whatever you want, you know. And my mom was right also the first time. She's like, Stephanie, I think you should stop. I don't think this is a good thing. And no, 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 no. And, you know, we have a saying in English, mom always knows best. And we don't have that saying for nothing. It's so true. Mom always knows best. We don't know how, but mom does. And so, yeah, so in a modern society, the girl could ask the parents, what do you guys think about him? And the parents say, you know, honey, we don't think he's right for you. Okay, so the next guy comes along, mom, what do you think about him? You know, I want everybody to be in agreement on this. We want to have like the family support. And they say, yeah, he's a good one for you. And the husband does the same thing with his parents. Yeah, he's a good one for you. I mean, she's a good one for you. And so then they get married. So, I mean, in a way, I know it's not the same thing, but I see some similarities between it, and I think that it's good to have the advice and not to go. If you have a normal family and parents that love you and they're not just trying to get you to marry some rich guy or something, then I think it's safe to go with, I don't know, you know, advice of other people.
Yes, I think that's one of the best things we can do. Well, that's what I can tell you because of the experience of others. Because I am, well, I have no intentions to get married at this right away. So,
Hmm.
but I probably think that I will bring this person to my house, and I will, you know, uh, my mother or father will tell me something. Okay, you know, this girl, yes, this girl knows, because I think that they can get, I mean, immediately how this person is like just
Hmm.
by the way he looks or she talks. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
For some reason, they. But I don't know. It's an idea, but I'm not, I don't know how it works because I'm not a father. But I
Since we're
suppose that.
speaking about this, getting married and traditions, I just remembered, you guys, when I was in high school, I used to have friends from many different cultures, and a lot of them were like Eastern European cultures. I had some Russian friends, and every single time I would go to their house, the parents and the aunts and the uncles, they would be like, what a nice young lady, hey, don't we have that cousin that's still living in Russia, they could get married. And they would start like trying to like do arranged marriages with me with their relatives and see how they could bring their relatives here to get them, or here, sorry, to the United States to get their relatives papers and stuff. And it was so funny because I'd be like, you guys, I'm 15, I'm not actually trying to get married anytime soon. But in their cultures, it's like they start talking about marriage when the girls are so young. They're like, "Oh, when are you going to get married?" And I remember when I was in high school, all the Russian girls would get married like the year right after high school. I don't know. I mean, I wish Alexander had stayed in the class so we could ask more about their culture and their traditions on marriage. But in the United States, yeah, the Russian girls, they would like, they had the reputation, I guess you could say, of getting married right after high school, and they would start having a family. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. It's not wrong. It's a culture. It's a tradition. That's why they do it, because, you know, from that young age, the grandmas and everybody just starts saying, hey, so when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? And in other cultures, that pressure doesn't exist. And I think there's pros and cons to that. I mean, if you grow up and from the time you're 12, people are saying, hey, when are you going to get married? It's kind of like you feel like, oh my gosh, I just want to get married so everybody stops asking me, you know? So have you guys met people from other cultures, like not strange cultures, but you know what I mean? Cultures that have traditions that are very different from your own?
I just watching the movies, but no, I do know someone. Well, what I've heard and I've seen, they said some people, you know, they arrange these oh, weddings. What is the word?
Arranged marriages.
Well, because there is, you know, an economical interest behind, and well, that's sad to know, but that's the only thing I've heard in these cases.
Caesar, I agree and I disagree that it's sad to know, because I understand why they do it, because in a lot of those countries there's so much poverty that I think the parents think, I just don't want my daughter to have to live a life of poverty. So maybe it's not like they're necessarily trying to marry them to the wealthiest guy on the block. I mean, in some cases, yes. But they just want to make sure that their children are going to be taken care of when they die, and they can no longer take care of their children. Does that make sense? I mean, I think that even you and I and Fernando, when we make our decisions or marriage decisions, there's kind of that thought of financial stability. It's like you're not just going to marry some girl who kind of obligates you to buy her new shoes every week and who always wants a new purse. You know, you're going to think, this girl is like going to use up all the money. She doesn't spend money wisely. And even when we make our modern decisions on marriage, we consider finances. So don't you think maybe it's a little bit similar?
No. I think that here there are two different things. Well, yes, you agree. I mean, you have to, as I said before, you have to know, well, this person, yes. I mean, how does he manage his money? All this kind of stuff, yes. But what I was talking about was that there, I mean, let's suppose that Panchito lives in Peru and Marita is from the United States. Let's put it in that way. So Panchito pretends to love her, but actually what he wants to get is just this, to get married, because if he accesses to this country, probably he will get this, I don't know, a better financial position.
Yeah.
And once he's there, once Panchito is there, so he breaks up with her, and that's it. So I've heard about those situations. There are some people who do that, and in different parts of the world, actually. So that's the point I was aiming to, right? So basically what you said is right. Of course, yes, you will try to find someone who, in a way, matches the way you live, or you know, the way you think, probably, or professionally, to be at the same level, for example.
Yeah.
But there are some people, as I just told you, that don't go necessarily in that way. Remember, and you have to, well, not you, everybody. We don't know other people's ways of thinking and feeling, so we never know his real intentions. Of course, after some time, you will actually see how this person is like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Fernanda, do you have anything to add to everything we've been discussing?
No, I mean, yes, well, it's a very complex subject. It's very interesting, but I just have to add that, as I said, I mean, that's what I said. People must be must have the right to decide by themselves, because, as you have said, it's not just happiness involved. It's happiness and a lot of other intentions, and it could be any kind of decision. I mean, if you don't well, in my belief, uh, if you don't put God there, and also you take a bad decision, well, it could result in a bad way. I mean, it could result good or bad, but I just think that at least if it results good or bad, at least you will. I mean, you will know that the only person to blame will be yourself. If it
Mm-hmm.
resulted good, okay, you will see, hey, okay, it resulted good, nice. But if it resulted bad, at least you are not going to be blaming your parents or your relatives or whoever who not necessarily to push you, but I mean sometimes it's a kind of pressure. So I think yes, I'm not contradicting you because I do believe that is a wise decision to hear about advices from your parents, especially the
Advice.
mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Advice, yeah, to follow advice, but yeah, at the very end, that's what it is. It's an advice. So the person who is going to take the decision is you. So you must consider the advice and all this stuff there because you know you will know what's the best for you. But that's why I think that must be a very yeah, you have to take some certain time in order to think about and to
Yeah.
put your mind clear. Okay.
Yeah, I I specifically threw out some kind of crazy examples or interesting things to think about because if I didn't do that, we would just sit here for an hour and be like, "Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you." Because I feel like the three of us have very similar like ideologies and thoughts. So I didn't want it to be an hour of like, "Yep, yep, I agree. Yep, I agree." So I thought of another question, you guys, and now I feel I regret that I thought of it so late in our conversation because we have like 3 minutes. But basically, I want to know what do you guys think about the whole reputation that Hispanic men have for being macho? I hope I'm not the first one to tell you guys this, but like Hispanic men generally have a reputation of being macho and like the woman belongs in the kitchen and the man this and the man that and this and that and that's okay. So does that bother you guys when people make that reference and say like, yeah, it's a common stereotype that Hispanic men are macho? Like, do you relate to that and say like, yeah, I'm macho, or like, how do you guys feel about this? So 1 minute answers each of you, but I really want to know what you guys think about this. Who wants to start?
Well, I think I will be the first one. I mean, okay, so I mean, I'm not like the person who offends easily. So, but I just say I do agree with that stereotype because I have noticed, even I have noticed in my own country, and it's something very common. But I think if that tendency has been reducing with the years, but it's still present in our societies. Yes, so I don't bother. I just make clear when somebody tells me that yes, but I'm not sharing that kind of macho profile because I do believe that the women is able to do whatever they want to. If they want to work as engineer, as a doctor, if they want to stay at home, I don't know, but she has their own right to decide. So just well, I have more to say, but I want to 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 give
Give
opportunity to
time.
Cesar to talk. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay. We'll have to carry on this part of the conversation in another one of our conversations, maybe in a private class. But all right, Caesar, what do you think about this?
Well, actually, women have been treated like that for many years since the beginning of history, and I'm pretty sure that it will keep on for many years to come. Uh,
Thanks.
and yes, no, sorry, but actually, nowadays in our society, as Orlando said, there are lots of men who treat their wives or girlfriends like that. Yes, and they believe that I am so much, or nobody can tell me what to do because I am the man. And that's why I believe that there are some girls who have taken, the roles of men because sometimes men treat them badly, and so I mean, well, Stephanie, that I'm Christian, so there is a deep thought about that. And
Yeah.
actually, if I say it, I will take it long, but I know why I believe that this will keep on like that, but
Yeah.
a real man
I
cannot do
know,
that.
I know. I'm sorry, guys, because I asked too late in the class, and this is actually something that's probably more interesting than what we were talking about earlier. But I just want to say really fast that it's so interesting because in the United States, it's almost like the opposite is happening. Like it went from, men being macho to like women being, I don't even know what the word is at the moment, but now it's like men sometimes in the United States, they have the stereotype of just wanting to sit down and watch football and drink beer all day while the women work and raise the kids and do everything. So it's kind of like, why does everything have to be such an extreme? I don't know. But anyhow, guys, this was a totally like chill class. Thanks for talking with me. I feel like I got to know you guys a little bit more. And you guys are improving. I hope you guys see your own improvements because I definitely noticed them. Like I specifically noticed something with Fernando today, so I just want to highlight that before we end. But basically, Fernando, you are getting better at expressing yourself and your ideas because sometimes when you talk, like you have such a big idea and I'm trying to follow the idea and then I get lost and I'm like, wait, what? And this time, every time you spoke, I was like, I understand. I understand, and I didn't have to try and figure out what you meant. It was just very clear, and you were direct and to the point. So, congratulations. That was really good. And you guys, and just one thing, Fernando, you kept saying to take a decision, and we have to say to make a decision. I know. I make the same, like, reversed error in Spanish. But anyhow, and Caesar, I'm sorry, I don't have anything specific to say about you, but you did really good too, okay? As always.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I was sleepy, but I don't want to go to bed.
Wait, you were sleepy, but now you don't want to go to bed?
No, actually, this conversation was, to continue for quite a long time. But
I know,
Yeah,
we could keep
definitely.
talking. I know now that we brought up the macho thing too, I'm like, wait, do we have another hour? Like, I want to hear what you guys have to say. But that's okay, guys. I'll work it into some other class. We'll be talking about, I don't know, something else, and I'll be like, oh, let's talk about being macho. Um, so anyhow, guys, I'm going to go to bed because it's 2 a.m. here. But thank you. Thank you for a great class, and I hope to see you guys soon, okay?
Okay,
okay, sayonara, goodbye.
All right, good
take
night.
care, and thank you for everything, and good night.
Good night. No problem. Bye-bye.
Okay, right. Ay, sorry.